So today I'd like to talk about what it means to have Christ consciousness, because I often mention this on my channel and I talk about it in my videos, and I don't think that people fully grasp what it is that I am saying here. I went through the process of attempting to achieve this state in 2023 through a series of fasting around a certain time of the moon phase, which you can find pinned to the top of my page on exactly how I went about doing that through fasting with a certain type of diet and around the moon phase of my birth. The experience for me has been over time. From that time, I felt the elixir pour into my third eye. I have gradually been on an increase from 2023 until the present day of intelligence level and full DNA activation as well as brain activation. So if you've ever seen the movie Lucy, where she goes through this process of eventually becoming this superhuman, but it's a gradual release, meaning that she gets amplified over time up until the point where she reaches 100% of her DNA function. This concept blends ancient mysticism, esoteric Christianity, and modern neuro-spiritual science. It is said that Christ oil, which is also called chrism sacred secretion or CSF elixir, is a fluid produced in the colostrum of the brain, traveling down the spinal column and returning upward during a lunar window, activating dormant DNA and spiritual faculties. Upon reaching the pineal gland, it may trigger a release of DMT, the spirit molecule, which opens visionary states and divine communication. Now, for me, this has been a gradual increase in intelligence, psychic abilities, telepathy, and many other spiritual gifts. I am definitely in tune with the entire frequency and vibration of the earth. As far as like what a Christ is and people saying a Messiah, there can only be one. And as I teach on this channel, you have the two witnesses who are the main characters of the story. These are your messiahs, or the bride and the bridegroom of Christ, or these two individuals who have achieved Christ consciousness. But what stands out and makes them different is their bloodline, okay, and where they descend from, their genetics, and actually their soul's energy that is encased in matter. Everyone cannot be the first light being on the planet, okay, and everyone is not going to have access in their DNA to the information that goes way back. It's kind of like when you reprint something and you make a replica of it. It's just like when your parents have you. You're not going to be your parents. You could never be your parents. You can have their DNA, you can have the information, but you can never be them. This makes them distinctively different than everyone else. It makes them messiahs, okay? It's not saying that you can't achieve Christ consciousness. Yes, you can. However, the information that you will have access to will be much different than that individual who is actually meant to be, or the first soul energy with the last of the genetic code and information from a certain bloodline. Their bloodline information is very distinct, their DNA lineage is very distinct, and their soul's signature is very distinct. I have gone through all of these cycles of figuring out who it is that I am. You can call me Inanna, you can call me Sophia, you can call me Venus, you can call me all of those names that are attributed to this first energy. I am one of the Christ. Okay, and the reason why I can tap into the information that I have on this page is because I went through the process of achieving Christ consciousness, and I am on the verge of full activation. Now, will this activation eventually turn into superpowers? My brain is continually increasing in intelligence and power. I can literally feel my brain pulsing. It's like it's alive. And I have supernatural abilities that other people do not have. I have psychic abilities that other people do not have. I can channel entities or any type of frequency energy that exists within this realm. And I also have access to information outside of the realm. There's information that I can pull and I just instinctively know. And it's also extremely easy for me to learn new subjects. It doesn't take long for me to read things. I can skim over them and have the information in no time. And I can also recall things that just, lightly grazed over in the past, and I didn't even have to read that deep into it, but I can bring that to the forefront of my mind, just like in the movie Limitless. So in terms of my experience, I do believe at some point that I will receive supernatural abilities, and I'm not entirely sure yet how that activation works, or if I may already have it. Part of me feels as though that anger or emotion would definitely trigger these things to happen and trigger me to be able to do certain supernatural things. I haven't tested that theory. I try not to get angry, and I try not to get to an emotional state that stresses me to the point where I would, use my powers in that way. I do believe that at a certain point, because based on the track record of how my brain has been expanding and my knowledge and pattern recognition abilities has been expanding and my spiritual gifts have been expanding increasingly since 2023 until the present, that eventually I will receive superhuman ability. And because of my genetic information, that is how I am able to access all of the information that I have have on this page. If you want to look up more information on the science of this, there is an author by the name of Victoria Laolu, and she has a book called The Science of the Sacred Secretion or Christ Oil. She also has a blog by the same name, and there's also Sacred Secretion and the Art of Preservation by the Sewanee School of Herbal Medicine that talks about this. But it's basically DMT. It's like being a walking mushroom. It's like having that 24/7. Information is always pouring into my third eye. If you are following along with this page and following along with what it is that I'm doing here, hey, enjoy the ride. That's all I can say. But I appreciate everyone for coming here. I appreciate you for listening. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe, and put a comment down in the comments just to let me know what you think of this content overall. Keep shining bright. Peace, love, and light.